Oh my God, hold on to your seat. Wow, 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 wow. Let me give you the secret. Here's the big secret. And this is what nobody's telling you. And once you start getting this, your mind is just going to be blown open. Bing, 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 bing. It's like pinball wizard. Pop, boom, fizzle, Shazam. Hi, my friends. It's Meredith, your evolutionary astrologer, and today we're going to continue talking about the nodes. But today's video is so interesting because I'm going to go into what creates a soulmate aspect using bi-wheels, and then I'm going to teach you the significance of looking at your nodal axis in your composite chart and what a composite chart is. So I really want you to go and get your gorgeous natal chart. And if you've got another person in your life, if you've got their natal chart, I want you to go grab theirs. Now, this could be your son, your brother, your partner, your mother. It doesn't matter who, because I'm going to show you how we can overlay the two charts and how you can see your past life experiences with that other person. Hold on to your hat. Hold on tight. We're going deep into past lives, and we're looking to see soulmate aspects using the bi-wheel and then the composite chart as well. And it is going to be so exciting, deeply moving, and I am going to teach you just a little bit more about discovering your past life and the significance of your relationships in this incarnation based on your previous incarnations. And also, are you going to meet this person in future lives as well? We're going to talk all about it here. It's exciting. It is riveting. And I just hope so much that I can teach you something new and open up new places and spaces in your mind and in your psyche and open you up to the world of astrology. It is fascinating. So let's dive in. So in my last video, I taught you how to take a look and start to discover your own past life. And by the way, I'm going to go so deep into this in my masterclass. And so if you want to learn more about discovering your own past life, what did you master? What did you learn? And how did it end? What you were painfully grief-stricken by? What were the hard things? What were the great things? Well, I'm teaching this masterclass on March 10th. I will put in the notes below a link to that masterclass so you can sign up for that. And if you're a superstar super supporter, it's free for you. Yes, that's one of your perks. So come and get it. And you have to sign up because I have limited space. And if you are a super supporter, a regular member at the $2.99 level, and you've been a member with me for 3 months, you get the class for $9. For everybody else, it is still discounted because my classes usually cost $29, but I'm selling it for $19. So come and join me and learn more about past lives and how to see it in your own gorgeous natal chart. But today we're going to talk about soulmates in your past life and also what lessons were brought to you through your relationships. Okay, and I have to tell you, I'm just so excited to bring you this chart example because I'm going to get to teach you a couple of really cool things. One, I'm going to teach you how to look at a chart and how to look at your past lives together using the nodal axis when you don't have someone's birth time. So either you don't know your own birth time, or you don't have your partner's birth time, or the other person that you're looking at. And when you're looking at the nodal axis, you can look at what your relationship is with anybody in your life. So I found it especially exciting to do, and I love doing this for clients. I do family tree astrology, where I take you, I look at the nodal axis and your past lives and your karmic contract, if you will, with every one of your family members. So you can actually see from their perspective and your perspective, who are you in this family? I know you think you know who you are, but do you really know who you are? So I was quite shocked to see the actual archetype that my relationship with my mom is playing out in a karmic level and in a subconscious place. It was really cool because it's quite a different expression than just what you see on the surface. And so I really recommend you guys start studying your charts inside your family members. And you're going to get to do this both ways, who they are to you and who you are to them through your past life, this lifetime, and who are you preparing to be with them, if anyone, in your next lifetime. It's so, so cool. So I am so excited to bring you Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's bi-wheels, and we're going to look at their past lives, this lifetime. Are they preparing to be together again in a future lifetime? Their charts are so fascinating. Oh my God, hold on to your seat, because I've never even really looked at Taylor's chart. I mean, just the surface, like her big three. I've, of course, never looked at his. So I'm going to bring them up, and it's a cold reading because I've never really spent any time at all. I've glanced at it for 30 seconds and I'm like, wow, 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 bing, 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 bing. It's like pinball wizard. So it's really, really exciting. So I want to take you into this. And also, I want to tell you guys, for my members, I'm doing something so, so exciting for you in my exclusive members only content. I am going to go through all the different planets and when they are in relationship to the nodal axis. So I'm going to go through the sun is in relationship to the nodes. What energy does that bring to the relationship? If the moon is, if Venus, Mercury, Mars, and I am going to give you guys that behind the scenes. And I want to ask you, members, did you absolutely love my exclusive content for the past life video I just did? I actually kind of think my members only video on the past life nodal axis, the video I just did, but for members only, I think it turned out better than my public video. I felt kind of bad for everybody who's not a member, but I was really happy to deliver that video to you. So I hope you guys watched it and I hope you loved it. And if you are a member, oh my God, go check it out because it was really, really good. I really need to make a caveat here. As an evolutionary astrologer and doing readings for 23 years, I can really confidently tell you that the South Node is not bad and the North Node good. As a matter of fact, the North Node is really friggin' hard. I mean, it is hard to do, especially if you have no support around it or if you have a lot of your personal planets in a hard aspect to it. The North Node can bring hardships. They can bring lessons that you just, gosh darn it, don't want to learn. And trust me, I can relate. I rebelled against my North Node for most of my life and probably have only done it fairly well in the last 10 years. So I was about 47 years old when I started to embrace my North Node, but it's been a long haul and a hard haul. I want to explain this to you truthfully, deeply, and sincerely, okay? Because there's so much information out there. I do agree that you're not supposed to just get rid of your South Node because you're coming into this lifetime having mastered that energy, having worked hard on that energy. You're already a master at it. So there is a great comfort in it. It can be even soothing energy, but I'm telling you right now, you're so good at those skills, that skill set. If you just stayed there in your whole rest of your life in your South Node energy, you would not grow. You would not evolve. So your South Node is here to grow beyond. I do think you can have and gain and glean a lot of self-confidence from your South Node because you're good at it. You've been doing that energy for lifetime after lifetime. And if you have planets conjunct your South Node within 10 degrees, forward or backwards, those planets are highlighted. Those planets on your South Node, you're also quite good at the expression of those planets. So if you have your Mercury on your South Node, well, your mind and your thinking and your expression is masterful in that South Node placement by sign and by house. That's what I mean by placement. If you have your Venus on your South Node, well, love is the name of your game, and you loved masterfully, right? You're probably an expert in relationships and all things beautiful and beauty and love and peace and harmony and maybe even money. But it depends on the expression of that sign and that house. Okay, so I really need you to know this. And I promise you, I'm telling you the truth. It's not bad or good. So please don't write in the comments, is this bad or is this good? Because bad or good depends on the health of your soul, of your mind, of your expression, of your psyche, basically of your Pluto. So how healthy of a human being are you? Because to the degree that you are mentally, emotionally, financially, spiritually, soulfully healthy is to the degree that your South Node, North Node will express itself healthy. So that's really the truth. The good or the bad lives inside of you and your attachment to your health and well-being. How healthy of a human being do you want to be? What is your reaction when you don't get your way? Is it a healthy reaction or is it an unhealthy reaction? Are you jealous and you self-sabotage and you sabotage your whole life based out of your jealousy? Well, that's not very healthy. But your South Node is not making you do that. Okay, I just want you to know that. So no planet can make you do that. So it's based on a continuum on the evolution of your soul and your soul's growth and the health and wellness that you choose to develop inside of you, okay? So what I do want to say is when another person, you want to go look at by degree and house where your south node is. And we're going to use Taylor's chart, but just for example, if yours is 15 degree south node Leo, well, we know that you're going to have a 15 degree north node Aquarius, because the nodes are always exactly opposite and they act like magnets. And I want you to imagine that the south node and the north node draw in energy. They're like the magnet that draws in the planetary energy and they absorb the energy. Okay. So the planet that is in aspect to the node, and in this video, we're talking about conjunctions. If you guys like this and you want me to go into the other aspects and what they mean, just leave me a comment. I'll consider it if I have enough people who really want to understand aspects to the nodes. But you could also come to my masterclass. The planet that is on the south node or the north node is the life giver to the node. Okay. The node is not the life giver to the planet. And that's how it works with people too. So if somebody's planet is sitting on your north node or your south node, they are illuminating you. They are infusing you. They are magnetizing you with that energy, right? So if my Mars sits on your south node or north node, it's my Mars that is giving to your south node or your north node. I want to say that there are some people in this world that want to grow, that are hungry for challenges, and they are curious and they're always looking for the next thing. And then there are other people in this world that are truly looking for security, stability, more of a soothing, placid, tempered life, right? Without a lot of challenges and without a lot of stimulation, but peace and comfort, harmony. And so you really have to also think about that, because the north node is going to energize you and challenge you to become more, and to become more of that which you need or that which you do not know. And the south node is going to be the place in which you have come from, metaphorically, spiritually, maybe physically. It's a knowing inside of yourself. You will outgrow your south node in this lifetime if you get to live your life to the fullest. The tighter the conjunction or the tighter the aspect to the nodes, the more pop, boom, fizzle, Shazam qualities that aspect has. So I want you right now in your chart to look at the exact degree in which your south and north nodes sit at. So is it 2 degrees, 5 degrees, 7 degrees, 9 degrees, 22 degrees? What degree does your north and south node sit at? It's going to be the same thing, just in opposite signs. I'm going to teach you how to use a bi-wheel. You can get all different kinds of bi-wheels in my shop, and I will put the link below in the description. It's shopsoulnavigation.com if you want to get one of my gorgeous natal charts formatted in a bi-wheel. It's so easy to read and it is just so gorgeous, and I designed them myself. They're very, very easy to read. They're a lot easier to read than the free ones that you get on the internet, but use what you like. In the synastry, when you use a bi-wheel, you can see what house their nodes fall in your chart, and vice versa. You can also see what houses your nodes fall in their chart. And that also tells a story. That's why I like working with the bi-wheel. But your nodal story, especially if you have conjunctions, and in this video, I'm mostly going to talk about conjunctions rather than squares and trines and all that. But when you have a conjunction, you automatically have an opposition. Don't forget that, okay? So if you have your Mars conjunct their south node, well, you also then have your Mars opposing their north node. And if you didn't understand what I said, rewind it. But it's because their south node is exactly opposite to their north node. So any aspect you have in a conjunction to their south node, it will oppose their north node, and vice versa. So don't forget that, okay? Don't forget the opposition to the other node. If you have conjunctions to their nodes, or they have conjunctions to your nodes, this creates a magnetic connection and a magnetic bond, and we get to decide if it's for good or for bad. It's based and dependent on your own health and wellness. So my husband's Mars is on my south node. Now that has a potential for disaster. But I will tell you what is so interesting about that is I also have my Mars on his south node. So we have a mutual reception. And I'll tell you, it works out awesome because we energize each other, we understand each other, and we met later in life. And so I'm not positive that it would have worked out well had we met when we were young. but it worked out because we both had enough wisdom under our belt to be able to stand in that wisdom and allow the other person to truly be in their Mars and not be threatened by it. So it works out really beautifully. So not every malefic planet, that is Uranus, Mars, Saturn, and Pluto on the South Node, is a bad thing. It depends on the people. Mars will certainly energize. It will create a magnetic, passionate draw and pull. But when you have a mutual reception like that, and I want you to go and look and see if you do have a mutual reception where your Jupiter is on their South Node and their Jupiter is on your South Node. That's a mutual reception. It's not a mutual reception if your Jupiter is on their South Node and their Jupiter is on your North Node. That's not a mutual reception. So it has to be the same combination, planet and node, happening in both charts. And that's kind of like a tit for tat. Right? Like I give to you what you give to me. And so it makes it, I think, easier because it levels the playing field because it's Mars. The next thing that I want to tell you, and this is advanced, and if you don't understand, do not worry and consider again coming to my nodes masterclass on March 10th. And if you can't, you can purchase it. Like if March has already passed and you've already watched this, you're watching this video later, you can purchase it in my library. It will be for sale after I edit it. But I do want you to look at the degree of your South Node and your North Node. And let's say it's 14 degrees. Doesn't matter what sign right now. I want you to go and look and see if you have any other planet sitting at the 14th degree. And I also want you to, in synastry, so you can understand your relationship to the person that we're looking at, I want you to see if they have anything also exactly precisely at that 14 degree. Now, let's say they have their Venus or their Pluto or their Uranus at that 14 degree, which is what the degree is of your nodal axis. Your North Node and your South Node are at that degree. If they have that exact degree by any planet, that planet is in direct communication with your nodal axis. And that planet, by house and by sign and by function of the planet, is so critical and so important. And it is so important that that person is bringing you karmic lessons regarding the themes of that planet. So if their moon is at the exact, now I do use orbs of 10 degrees going both ways, but I'm just telling you, the tighter and the closer it is, the more draw, the more of a magnetic pull there is. And so if you have that exact aspect, that is a huge wow factor. And I believe that that is fated, that is destined, and you definitely were supposed to meet one another so you could learn the lessons of whatever planet they're bringing you. So if they're bringing you the moon, they're bringing you karmic moon lessons, and go look at the house so you can understand, let's say it's in the 5th house, around children or around falling in love with life. So you got to look at which house it also falls in, which house their planet falls in. Okay. So if they've got an exact degree and it's the moon in their 5th house, and then it's in an exact degree to yours, they are bringing you moon and 5th house lessons to your nodal axis. Did you guys get that? Please tell me you got that. If not, go rewind that last sentence because that's the golden nugget. Now, you don't even need to know what the aspect is, right? It could be a square, a quincunx, it could be semi-sextile. It doesn't matter, especially if it's exact. What I really want you to know is they are bringing you those lessons, and they will come in a challenging way or they will come in an easy, comfortable way. I'll go into aspects and the meaning of those aspects and what that might look like in my masterclass. But for here, I just want you to think about moon in the 5th house in an exact, right? In an exact degree that my nodal axis is. Wow, they are bringing me karmic moon 5th house lessons. And if you don't know what that means, you got to go watch my moon, what does the moon mean in the astrology chart video? And what is the 5th house about video? And you got to start learning. You got to start learning all the puzzle pieces until you get fluent, because it is so exciting. And once you start getting this, your mind is just going to be blown open. So I can't wait to show you Taylor's chart, but I have a couple more things that I want to tell you. Okay, I've talked a lot about the angles. And if you want to know about the angles, I have a new report. I don't write my reports, but I bought the license and I've found the very best ones on the internet by the writers, and I bought the software license to sell them. But I have a new report called the Vertex Report. A lot of you have already bought it, but in it, it talks about your angles and why the angles are so important. So let me just tell you a couple of things. If you have a node sitting on an angle. This is absolutely critical. And if your north node or south node sit on your partner's angle or your other person's angle, and it doesn't matter which angle it is, the ascendant, the descendant, the IC, or the MC, this is extra pop. This is extra important. And I also think that this is deeply profound and deeply meaningful. When the nodes, your nodes conjunct their ascendant, or their nodes conjunct your ascendant, descendant. So if they conjunct the ascendant, they're going to also conjunct the descendant, and vice versa. But they show a profound bond, and that affects both people. Most particularly, it is the person who has the ascendant in the equation. So if their north node is on your ascendant, or their south node is on your ascendant, then you are just so profoundly and deeply connected to the node person. And I'm not saying the node person isn't connected to you. They are, but it is such a strong connection. And then if they've got their nodes straddling either your third, fourth house angle or the ninth, 10th house cusp angle, this is also a profound connection. These people can really bring you out into the world and help you find your place in society. They could be like your publicist or your manager or your director that has a blockbuster film for you, or they could be your boss that gives you a chance in life. If it's on the IC, they can become very important to your foundation, or even family. They can become family. There is a magnetic pull, and there is most likely a remembering that this person was of great value to you in your previous lifetimes. So if they put a node on your angles, this is hugely karmic. I also want to say, and that's why I love that Vertex report, although the Vertex report does not do synastry, it does talk a lot about synastry. If you've got their south node or north node sitting on your vertex, or vice versa, oh my God, this is fated encounter. This is so big. This is a bond that is so deep and so profound. It's almost like possibly no way you weren't going to meet in this lifetime. I mean, you were just going to get opportunity after opportunity after opportunity because you were supposed to know one another so deeply and so profoundly. And then which house the vertex is in is very important to look at. But that is a very, very big deal. So if anybody has that, and that's hard because the vertex moves so quickly, the nodes take approximately 18 or 19 days to move just 1 degree, but the vertex moves rapidly through the signs throughout the day. If you have the vertex on a node, it's very, very powerful. Another thing that I want to say is when you meet somebody where your nodes are conjunct, so your south node sits on their south node, your north node sits on their north node, it's very, very interesting, because it either means that you were born in the same year. So everybody you went to high school with or junior high with, you all probably have the same exact nodal axis. So the nodes are generational. But let's say you move away and then you go and you meet somebody out in your adult life and they have the same node as you, the same south node and the same north node. Well, they're either 18 or 19 years older or younger than you, or the same age as you, or they're 36 or 37 years older than you. It's very interesting to pay attention to those ages, because you usually will get along with people that are 18 years older than you, 36 years older than you, and on in the 18, 19, 18 and a half year increments. Now, when you meet somebody who is like 9 years older than you or 9 years younger than you, well, then you're going to have a reverse nodal axis from them. So their south node is going to be your north node, and vice versa. Their north node will be your south node. So it will be inverted, right? I kind of see those as two ships crossing through this lifetime, like their south node, their north node, right? And then your north node and their south node. So where they came from is where you're going. And where you came from is where they're going. And in this lifetime, you meet and you exchange in order for you to each grow in your next lifetime. It's like you have the answers that they seek, and vice versa. I just want to do this before we go into the chart, because the chart is so fascinating in the synastry. And again, you can get your bi-wheel. You can get your gorgeous bi-wheel. And if you want, you can get two. So you can get one that puts you in the center and them on the outside so you can see where their nodes fall in your chart by house. And then you can get a second by wheel if you want to, where we put them on the inside and we see where your nodes fall in their chart. And those are two different stories, right? Those are two different placements altogether. So who they are to you is not who you are to them. You know, so many readings I get, it's like one of the people is like, God, I just know this person's my soulmate and I love them so much. And I just don't know why they could throw away this relationship. And this relationship was so amazing and it was just so wonderful. And I'm telling you, it was fireworks and starlight and magical moonlights. And it was just like soul riveting. And I know that it was just the most wonderful thing. Well, maybe not for them. I know you feel that way. But let's go look at their chart, you know, and how you affect them. I know they affected you that way, but it's not always reciprocal. Sadly, I know that breaks hearts to say, but it's really true. I mean, there are plenty of people that you could just be in this ravishing love for. And yeah, they like you, but they don't have the ravishing love level, right? And we can see that in the chart oftentimes with what the nodes are doing. So it's really, really cool to start understanding astrology. Yes, I love getting the reports as a guideline, but when you start learning the meanings, you can use the report as a guideline to expand your own definitions and your own knowledge. So those reports are fantastic because in my shop, because they're based solely on your chart, but they're just a start. So in case there is contact, especially the conjunction. Okay. So I'm really mostly talking about the conjunction with the North Node. The North Node person tends to accept, now, not always, it depends how healthy the person is, but tends to accept the person whose planet is touching that North Node. And it's usually very sweet because that person usually benefits that North Node person. So for example, my mom's moon sits on my North Node. She makes everything about my life better. And I used to joke that if you see anything beautiful in my house, pretty much guaranteed my mom gave it to me. This was a while ago, but it's still kind of true because I've kept all those beautiful things. She really beautified my life in a lot of ways. And it's almost like she had fairy dust. And so she really has helped pull me up into the best version of myself because her moon sits on my North Node. So that's an example. So go look at the people's charts in your life and see who does what to you, right? Now, I'm not saying that every single person that touches your North Node is going to do it in a way that's magical with fairy dust. Because believe me, there are plenty of people in my life that touch my North Node and they seriously irritate me. And it might be because they're not that healthy, right? If they're not bringing a healthy version of your North Node will reject it because, let me give you the secret. Here's the big secret. And this is what nobody's telling you. You're either going to do your North Node well or you're not going to do it. Yeah, you're not going to do your North Node badly. You're going to just be lazy around your North Node and not do it. And that's the sad part. So if you have an unhealthy North Node person in your life, their sun, let's just say their sun sits on your North Node and they're a shit show, they're a train wreck, they're off their rocker, they're not even, normal, your North Node can sense that and is going to reject that and go, no, thank you. However, this is what I do want to tell you, even in their shit show, in their train wreck, in their crash and burn life, there still are lessons inside maybe those horrific things that your soul still wants to learn, is curious about, can learn from. It's not going to be through emulation, but it is going to show up as some sort of version of your North Node that you are adverse to, and you're never going to go there. So just remember this, not doing your North Node is the crime. This is the golden nugget. Not doing your North Node is the sad story in your life. You got to do your North Node. Go figure out what your North Node is. And then what I want you to do is make me a little pinky swear promise that you will binge watch whatever sign that is. You will binge watch my playlist on that sign. So if your North Node is in Aquarius, I want you to go binge watch my entire Aquarius playlist, every single video I have on Aquarius. Now, listen, there's a certain way to do this. When you're listening to those videos that I do, whatever your North Node is, if it's your North Node, I only want you to listen to the good things I say about that sign, because you're only going to do the good, healthy things, or you're not going to do it at all. And again, not doing it at all is the crime. So you're not going to do your North Node badly. Most likely, you're not going to. Now, the only way you would do your North Node badly is if your North Node has serious, brutal wounds inside your whole entire natal chart. And it is so wounded, it can't deal, it can't cope, it can't get healthy. It's got Mars, it's got Pluto, it's got Uranus, it's got Neptune, and it's just in such perilous turmoil and trauma. And it's just been so broken that there's no chance. But I see that seldom. I really do. And maybe that's just because there are seekers on this channel, and the people that get a reading with me are healthy and they are wanting help and they are somewhat healthy. If your North Node is really seriously dysfunctional, you probably have super big challenging aspects to it, and it probably was traumatized and never healed properly. And there is a possibility to that. It's just more likely that you're just going to opt out of doing your North Node. However, if you have your North Node in a whole stellium full of planets, we have to remember that North Node or South Node is magnetized by the lessons of those other planets, and those planets by conjunction create a life force energy. And if those planets are not operating in a healthy, functional way, they can bring down the healthiness of that North Node. And that is heartbreaking, because I see the North Node as the evolution of your soul, sort of your ticket out, your way out, what you need to learn to grow, to evolve, to go to the next lifetime with peace and harmony. And so I truly believe, as an evolutionary astrologer, to do your North Node well is to do your life well, is a part of your grand ascension, and it is a part of the divine plan, and it is your karmic path for your highest evolutionary self. So one more thing that I want to say is I'm traveling this weekend, so I wasn't able to do a live chat with you all, and I'm so sorry, but I'm celebrating in this adorable Bavarian village. And if you are on my Instagram, I'll surely post pictures. So I might not get my members only video out this Wednesday, but I do want you to know I'm going to go through all of the different planets in relationship to the nodes. And that's by synastry, and that's natally, and by composite. So we still have lots to do. So I want to keep on going. Now, the South Node in your chart, but with another person's planet on your South Node, that person could end up being somebody who is very comfortable to you, somebody who you already know. It could even be somebody who you recognize or know from a past life. There definitely is a soulmate connection there, but you might see that you outgrow this person. This person's light that they lend to you is something that you've already mastered. You already know. If you already know how to fix a tire, do you really want to go to school to learn how to fix a tire? No. You might go to humor that person, make that person feel good, like, oh, wow, you're really teaching me something new, but you already know it. The South Node, I feel you eventually outgrow, and it might last for a good 9 years, right? But and it might last by transit. When we look at a transit, like maybe their sun is sitting on your South Node. By transit, there is the nodal axis returning back to where your South Node is. So it all lines up. So it feels magical in that moment. And I find that it can last for about 7 to 9 years. And then you'll see that the South Node person gets a little bit too comfortable or bored, or just feels like the planet person who's on their South Node can't grow. And if that's you, if you put your planet on the other person's South Node, just ask them, or have honest conversation and ask them, if am I boring? Have you already learned everything I have to contribute to this relationship? And if the answer is no, remember, we cannot just look at the nodes. You guys, there's over 40,000 different things to look at in a chart. This is just one thing. And it doesn't mean that a relationship can't work with your sun on their South Node or their sun on your South Node. It's just just that. You have to have a lot of other things, especially hopefully support to the North Node by some of their other planets to rise you up, to take you where your soul really wants to evolve and go. In synastry, that can be like a magnetic draw. It's just that you need way more than that to make a relationship last. Now, if you have a mother or a father who's on your South Node, you might outgrow your mother or your father or your home, but you might always find a comfort in them too. So it's not always a bad thing to outgrow somebody. Maybe they are the tree trunk in your life and you are the butterfly, and it's always a safe harbor to return to. So it could represent security. It's a puzzle. It's a mosaic that we have to put together. Okay, so I want to show you Travis's and Taylor's chart. So here it is, and it is just so interesting. Oh my God. I was just stunned when I saw this. And by the way, I saw this like 5 minutes before I started this video. So I could go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. But look how close they were born. So they're just a couple months apart. So they do have the same nodal axis. Yippee yahoo. That's wonderful. Now, this is from the inner ring. This is from Taylor's perspective. You can also get a bi-wheel with Travis on the inside, and that would be from his perspective looking out onto Taylor. But first, we will just look at this relationship from Taylor's perspective. And they came from a past life. It's pretty tight, 19 and 23. That's not very far. And this could go all the way to 29, 19 to 29, and still have considered a conjunction. And when I say, on top of, that's what I mean in conjunction. So those nodes are in the same exact place out there in the universe when Taylor was born and when Travis was born. And they're both here to learn Aquarius third house things, or he, at least from her perspective, he is here to help her kind of not care so much, right? To move out of the Leo limelight, if you will, and to get independent. And maybe both of them will get unhooked from fame, knowing each other, and maybe they will become autonomous and independent, here to sort of learn the Leo lessons that they were both royalty in past lives and in this lifetime. Oh my gosh, by the way, this is so important. I can't believe I didn't say this, and I've probably said this in all my other nodes videos. And by the way, you can watch my entire nodes playlist. And if you're not a member, you won't get it all, because I have some behind my membership wall, but just come be a member for $2.99. It puts like 10 cents in my pocket and helps keep the channel alive and thrive, and you get all kinds of benefits. And I try to answer all of my members' questions. It's getting hard to do, but I do my best. Whatever energy you were in your past lifetime, that energy usually plays out in this lifetime until you're about 36 years old. So they both are royalty in this lifetime. And it doesn't mean that they'll give up their royalty. Usually the same theme that you were in a past lifetime, you're so good at it, you play it out in the early part of your life. I feel like you don't really move to your North Node until you're about 36, 37 years old. And that's because it takes a couple nodal returns to, the first one's at 18, the second one's at 36, 37. It takes a couple of those for you to start stepping into that North Node energy. Now, both these kiddos are about 35 years old. So you watch next year, you're going to start seeing them in their kind of autonomy and their independence, and maybe unhooking from what the tabloids say or what the public opinion is of them. That's very Leo, working for affirmations. Now they're going to be working for their authentic truths inside of Aquarius. But I want to show you guys something. So here's the 23, here's 19. So let's just take Taylor and do the 19. His moon is in trine to her South Node. He loved her once before. And I bet you anything, I don't know their full love story. I bet you the moment he saw her in this lifetime, he was like, she's mine. He remembers it from a last lifetime. And by the way, the two royal signs in the zodiac are Sagittarius and Leo. Why? Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, which is Zeus, which is the god of all gods, the god of the universe. And Leo is the sun, the god of Apollo, the life force. Leo is the king or the queen. It is royalty. And so this is very regal. So they were a regal power couple in a last lifetime, and he loved her. I'm going to tell you, I do think they had something remarkable because of that moon, but their compatibility is so off the hook, off the charts. He holds the moon to her sun. I don't love that. She's going to end up eclipsing him. And like, who is she not going to eclipse, right? She's pretty much going to eclipse anybody she stands next to. But when you have the sun and the moon together, the moon is eclipsed by the sun. So she's going to wear the pants. But they have some really, really fascinating synastry. And I love that his Libra sun, Mars conjunct the sun, he can hold his power and he can hold his strength in a very gentle way. But I love how his sun and Mars goes well with the nodal axis beautifully. And then her sun also goes well with his nodal axis. Anytime you have a moon Jupiter, like she has natally, and he brings the moon Jupiter, that is just overflowing with love. It's unbelievable. Guarantee you he feels like he has met his soul mate. I'm going to be really sad if this relationship doesn't work out. And I can also see why it might not work out, because his moon is with her sun. And it depends how well he can be the moon to her sun, right? Be the guy who she comes home to at night, and he just lets her be in her jammies with no makeup on, and he makes her a smoothie or cooks her a warm meal. I have a feeling he's like that anyways, because he's Libra, just a sweetheart. So his node is at 23 degrees, and it's going to be at 23 degrees no matter what time he was born, because the nodes, as I said, they take 18 days to move a degree. So you're just fine. If you don't know your birth time, your nodal axis degree is accurate. So let's go see if she has anything at 23 degrees. Well, that ascendant is pretty close. It's 25. Her sun is 21. That's pretty close. It's within 2 degrees. Her ascendant is at 25. So that's pretty close. And that is a square. Who she is in the world it's challenging to his nodal axis. It challenges him. That's probably going to be the only reason. That and his moon to her sun, it's the same exact thing repeated twice. If you get 3 lessons, it usually is a big deal. But one of the things that I just absolutely love is this Jupiter moon, and this nodal axis is so supported. One thing about Sagittarius moon and sun loves Leo and loves Aquarius. And so just knowing that, I'm going to bet on these people, and their synastry is absolutely amazing. So now let me show you how you make a composite chart. And the composite chart works better if you have both people's birth time. So when we don't have a person's birth time, because we don't have Travis's exact birth time, then we cannot count on the houses, but we can count on the planets. So you get 70% of the story, and I think it's still worth it. And by the way, we have a whole composite package, and it is so cool in the shop. In this composite package, you get your composite chart. I'll do a whole video on what the composite chart is, but it's basically taking the midpoint between each of the planets. So if you're a Scorpio and I'm a Capricorn, then we're having a Sagittarius relationship by sun sign. And if your moon is Capricorn and my moon is in Pisces, well, we're probably having an Aquarius moon relationship. And so that is what a composite chart is. So let's go take a look at theirs. Now, again, we don't have his time, so we're not going to be able to know what houses these fall in. But look at, they are having a Scorpio relationship. I mean, that's a Scorpio stellium with a Virgo moon. That's totally different than the regal, royal, queen-like, king-like, right? We still are going to have that same nodal axis because they both had that themselves. So it just moved a couple degrees. You can see these oppositions, but we are intimate. And with Pluto on the sun, what this relationship is about is intimate transformation at the deepest of the deep levels. And it is absolutely probably going to transform them. So let's look and see if there are any 21 degrees. Anything between 11 and 2 degrees, 1 degree, is hitting this nodal axis. But this Venus, this Mercury, this Sun, this Pluto, this Moon, this Chiron, almost every single one of these planets is having a relationship with this nodal axis by composite. Hopefully you are one of the lucky souls. There's probably about 110 people who got my aspect finder. This aspect finder helps you so much figure out those orbs. So I absolutely love these aspect finders. If I get 50 people that say they want one, I will buy another batch of these and sell them again for you. So just let me know if you love your aspect finder. It's so helpful. So what you do is you put the little conjunction sign on the sign that you're trying to figure out, and then it shows you all of the aspects. And I cannot live without my aspect finder. I got this tool. This is so old. I got this tool 28 years ago, and sometimes I still refer to it when I get confused and I can't figure out my aspect by doing my math, because it's not my greatest skill. But it's really good. So if 50 people say they want an aspect finder, I'll put another batch in, and then, because I got to go to the post office and I hate doing that. So, and I got to hand address the envelopes, and I got to mail them all out to you wherever you live in the world. So it's a lot to ask me to go to the post office. And I definitely don't make enough money on them to make that trip worthwhile. But because I love you, I will if I get enough people who want it. But if y'all feel satiated and satisfied and like you're all good, then let's don't bother. But anyways, I wanted to show you the power of the composite chart. Oh, and by the way, there's asteroids in here that are the love asteroids that we put into this chart, and you get it in the report in the composite package. You also get this if you buy the Soulmates package along with some other things. So go check out both of those options and see which one you want. But the composite package gives you your composite chart, which shows us what the meaning of your relationship is together as a symbiotic unit. So there's you, and then there's me, and then there's what our alchemy creates, and that is the composite. I am me and you are you. However, in relationship to me, with me, you are something different. And this is our relationship. We also have extra asteroids. They're the love asteroids. We put Psyche, Eros, and Cupido inside the wheel so you can kind of see what they're doing. The report also talks about it. The composite report talks about those different asteroids. And so I just fell in love with that report. So that's why I had to buy the license for it so I could start selling it. And I just absolutely love it. And I think their synastry and their composite report is so interesting, because who they are out there in the world is not who they are together. Together, they are both in their Scorpio energy. And Taylor is a Sag and he's a Libra. What? And they're doing a Scorpio life together. Granted, she's Scorpio rising, but we don't know his rising sign. So she, is a little bit more adept at Scorpio energy. That Scorpio energy and relationship is going to challenge their Leo Aquarius nodal axis. They're going to find challenges around how do we let go of Leo, and how do we even do Aquarius when we're in all of this Scorpio torment, right? And I think it can be really beautiful, because I think both of those people are pretty healthy. I think both those people, just from what I can see and what I've learned, I think they're healthy people. And so it's kind of a question of, how bad do you want it? And a lot of people don't want it badly enough. Anyways, I hope you got a little taste of the composite chart. Tell me if you want me to do another full-on video on what the heck it is and why is it important. I'll just tell you one last little tidbit about the composite chart, just because I want to give you one more little tiny thing. My husband and I both have fifth house suns, but in our composite chart together, we end up having a sixth house relationship. And that's because he's a Aquarius and I'm a Sag. And so we meet in the house of Capricorn. It's very, very interesting. And because that is like daily life. And it is really, really true. We are both fifth house suns, giant personalities, lots of friends, lots of social gatherings. But we find great comfort in just having a daily simple routine with one another. So whatever house your composite sun sits in will be the expression of your relationship together. Now, to tell you the truth, if my husband wasn't in my life, I don't have any planets in the sixth house, I probably would not take comfort in the daily routine like I do inside our relationship. Like I miss it when I don't have him home to cook for. And that's really the truth. And it's kind of funny because we really do like the domestic part of life, the daily do. We can still both do the fifth house because we both individually like that, right? But that does not define our relationship. And when I learned about that, at first I was like, ho hum, like, is that going to be fulfilling? Wherever your composite sun is, I promise you inside that particular relationship, that house is fulfilling. Yes. Go look at by Composite, and you can get just a composite chart in our shop. A gorgeous, it's in the style of the gorgeous natal chart. And go look at, what is your composite relationship with your daughter? What is your composite relationship with your mother, with your father, with your brother, with your son, with your ex-husband, with your new husband, with your fiance, with your, right? And go look at the different themes of your relationships with different people in your life. And then go pick your very favorite, most comfortable relationship, run a composite chart with them, and see what house your composite sun sits in. And that's what the two of you are creating. That's what they are giving to you and you are giving to them. And that's what you are creating together. So those composite charts are just so fascinating. You can see your collective past life in the composite, and you can see what you're here to learn in your next lifetime. Now, with Taylor and Travis, they have the same nodal axis. So it doesn't change from the bi-wheel to the composite. It does change if you don't have the same nodal axis in your natal charts. Does that make sense? Are you guys learning all this? I hope so. And by the way, I only have 3 tickets left. If you want to come learn with me live in Seattle, Washington, May 16th through the 19th, come grab a ticket. I have 3 left. I am so excited. It's almost sold out. We are going to have such a blast. We're going to play by night, and we are going to transform our souls by day. It is going to be amazing. I can't wait till our next video visit, and I will see you soon. Sorry I couldn't be here with you in the live chat, but take good care, and I wish you all the very, very best.